Our early previews of Ole Miss's 2020 opponents rolls on. Today we take a look at the Rebels' Week 7 foe, the Florida Gators. Florida finished 2019 with an 11-2 record, and Dan Mullen might have found the quarterback to help him win the SEC East. Kyle Trask, a former two-star prospect who hadn't started a game since the 9th grade, came out of nowhere and led the Gators to an Orange Bowl winning season after former starter Felipe Franks went down with an injury in just the 3rd game of the season. Franks is now at Arkansas, and Trask comes into the 2020 season as the SEC's top returning passer. He threw for over 2,900 yards with 25 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, completing 67% of his passes, adding 4 rushing touchdowns as well. Emory Jones is QB2, but we'll most likely see Jones on the field as a change of pace option for the Florida offense. Jones, a top 5 dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2018, showed the ability to run and throw really well when given an opportunity to play. You could expect Dan Mullen to take advantage of Jones' skill set this season. Lamichael Pirine was one of the most complete backs in the SEC last season. Pirine not only rushed for 670 yards and 6 scores on the ground, but he was also 3rd on the team with 40 receptions to go along with 5 receiving touchdowns. He was a solid pass protector as well, and that got him drafted to the NFL. With Pirine gone, his former backup Dameon Pierce needs to step up, and to his credit, Pierce seems capable of RB1 duties. But there's also Miami transfer Lorenzo Lingard, a 5-star running back from the class of 2018 who has the potential to become one of the best running backs in the SEC with his speed and power if he's healthy. The Gators lost a lot of production in the receiving corps with 4 departures. That includes top targets Van Jefferson and Freddie Swain, who are now in the NFL after combining for 87 receptions, over 1,170 yards, and 13 touchdowns in 2019. But there's plenty of talented pass catchers left, and Trask doesn't play favorites. 8 different Gators had more than 20 receptions last season. Tight end Kyle Pitts is back after leading the team with 54 receptions to go along with 649 yards and 5 touchdowns, and Trayvon Grimes could emerge as the top target, while talented guys like Kadarius Toney and Jacob Copeland can make up for the lost production. The offensive line is the biggest question mark for the Florida offense coming into this season. While the Gators do return 4 starters from a year ago, it's a group that struggled and didn't get any time to figure things out in spring practice. Florida's O-line was inconsistent in pass blocking and struggled in run blocking. It's crucial that this group improves if the Gators are going to compete for the SEC East. The Gators defense was one of the best in the nation a year ago, finishing top 10 overall, 7th in scoring, and 4th in total sacks, getting to the opposing quarterback 49 times. But Florida does lose 2 of its best pass rushers in Jonathan Greenard, who led the team with 9.5 sacks, and Jabari Zuniga, who was a stud when he wasn't hurt. Both players were selected in the NFL draft, leaving some holes to fill on the D-line. Good thing for the Gators is there's plenty of talent in that room, including 5-star Georgia transfer Brenton Cox, along with guys like Jeremiah Moon and Zachary Carter. The linebacking corps also lost its leader. David Reese is now in the NFL after posting a team-high 88 tackles. Ventrell Miller is expected to take on a bigger role after his 55-tackle performance last season, and James Houston and Mohamed Debate should step up after combining for 8 sacks last season. The Gators secondary might be its strongest unit on defense. Even though Florida will miss star cornerback CJ Henderson, who was a top 10 NFL draft pick, the Gators still have one of the nation's best secondaries. Cornerback Marco Wilson is super talented, and so is Kaiir Elam, who had 4 interceptions as a true freshman. Safety Sean Davis is a future NFL draft pick, and Donovan Steiner is a solid backup to Davis, adding good depth to an already well put together secondary. As much as Ole Miss fans want to see Dan Mullen lose in his return to Oxford, I just think the Gators have too much talent to fall in this one. If healthy, Florida could potentially win the SEC East. That's how good they are. But it's not a game they can take lightly. By week 7, Ole Miss is going to be a whole lot better than week 1. Some of those early season struggles are going to become teachable moments for Lane Kiffin and his staff, and if these guys are good at implementing weekly adjustments, they might be good enough to upset what will most likely be a ranked Gator squad. Let's just hope we get some college football this fall. For the Ole Miss Spirit, I'm Suda Upadhyaya.